moving on from inputs, the next most logical thing to stop here at is an output. An output is how it is that the computer can communicate with us. So the interaction is flowing out from the computer into our direction. So because I mentioned it before, sound is one of the traditional and primary ways that the computer has an opportunity to interact with us. So if you think about system settings, they, make noises when you click about on things. That's the computer letting you know that you have made an interaction. If I do not have my phone on me, but if I did and I was dialing a phone number, which is almost entirely unheard of 15 years now into having smartphones, but it's true. I've had to make a couple of phone calls today. So those beeps when I hit the correct space where the keypad would be, that's the computer letting me know through output that I have engaged in an interaction properly with the machine. So our monitors here where I can see me staring back as I record a video, that is an output. Here in my microphone, there's actually an output down there where I could hear my own voice piped back into me, and that's happening via the computer here. So those would be some of our standard, typical outputs, but really there's a wide range of what those interactions would be. We can think about things. I have a printer over here on a table next to me. That is the computer producing an output per my request, a printed sheet of paper. And I have to remember that permission slip that's on there that I've forgotten about for 2 days. The other forms of output are really growing now because we have what is known as IoT, the Internet of Things. Our traditional mechanical devices can be turned into non-traditional computing devices. So probably by now some of you have heard the droning that is happening here in the background. That is the furnace right outside of my office. That is a 25, 30-year-old furnace, still working hopefully, that now has a smart thermostat hooked up to it. So heat is actually an output from a system now. I can make a request of my Nest Learning thermostat to say turn up the heat because it's cold, and heat comes out. That is an output. I can make a request to say turn it down because it's warm, and cold air comes out as an output. Those are ways that we are getting non-traditional outputs from what used to only be a mechanical type interaction, a furnace, right? We've all seen those Bell thermostats. Some of our furnaces still do, in fact, run that way instead of having a touch screen for things. So those are traditionally mechanical only. We are in a computer interaction. Now, when I go to my Camry, the cheapest Camry the law will allow, that is not a mechanical connection between the brake and the accelerator and my ability to stop and go. That is a computer interaction that is happening there. And my guess would be, if you spent a day thinking about, is this output the result of a mechanical interaction or a computer interaction, you are going to come across fewer mechanical interactions than you expected. I have a light over here. The physical touch button isn't a clicky button. It's a sensor button. That's someplace in between mechanical and electronic. So outputs are things like, our traditional display audio. They are things like haptics. So when my phone vibrates, that's letting me know. It can be even things like a fan spooling up. So on a desktop or a laptop, Mac or PC, it doesn't really matter. When you first turn it on, the fans kick all the way up and then cycle back down. That's actually not required. That is a communication to you, the end user, that my mechanical parts, if I am the computer, are functioning properly. Your phones do the same thing. When you turn them on from off, the screen cycles all the way to bright and then back down to normal. That is It's part of what's known as a power on self-test or a post, but it is a communication to you, the user, that, yeah, I can make this output and let you know that something is happening. So those are the two phases that we are the most accustomed with because they are the most user focused of the four phases that we're talking about here. The input, where I, the user, get to dictate to the machine what's happening, and the output, where I, the user, believe that the machine is doing what I requested of it.